Dropout rates across the globe are likely to rise as a result of this massive disruption to education access, while other critical needs such as health, water and sanitization are being responded to. Educational needs cannot be forgotten, and these have equally detrimental impact if left unaddressed. The pile-on effect of the coronavirus is that during the global COVID pandemic, interruptions to education can have long-term implications, especially for the most vulnerable. There's a real risk of regression for children whose basic foundational learning like reading, math and languages was not strong to begin with, and millions of children who have already been deprived of their right to education, particularly girls, are being more exposed to health and well-being risks like both psychosocial and physically during COVID-19.
But keeping in view about the children that they may get addicted to mobile gadgets, so we may conduct after the reopen of the school to the children who are unable to come to school. After reopen, we take special classes and we shall complete the syllabus. We are ready to conduct online classes, but keeping in view about the children that they may get addicted to mobile gadgets, so we may conduct after the reopen of the school.
Hope everybody is doing well. Today I am going to specially speak about the corona pandemic that has become a big problem all over the world. In these testing times, schools have got a very problematic time. So these are some of the guidelines we would like to give you. So first of all, please remember the point, safety is always better than getting affected. Prevention is always better than the cure. So take care of your health. Once the schools start, you have to be extra careful while sending your ward to the school. First of all, make sure that your ward is perfectly all right. After that, once the school timings come, see that you accompany your ward. And we are extra careful. Management has decided to erect thermal scanners over all the gates. There will be thermal scanners, only the child shows the perfect temperature he will be in. Soon after that, he will be given sanitizer to wash his hands. So we also, according to the government rules, we'll give special timetable to the students so that all students do not come together at a time. We will allow him through different gates. So once they are into the campus, we make sure that class teachers are there in their respective rooms, and even we maintain distance, perhaps 2 to 3 meters from one bench to another bench. And we make sure that there will be not more than one student sitting in the bench. And we see that proper distance is maintained from the student to student, maybe in the manner of zigzag, or if she is made to sit straight, we see the proper distance is maintained. So then after that, during the breaks, we make sure that all the students do not go at a time, and we have different restrooms, more than 3. So we send section by section students. So we'll change the timetable likewise, not everybody following the same timetable, so that nobody will come in contact with each other. Always remember, there are 2 things that you have to come along with. One is the mask. The other one, if possible, try to bring your own sanitizer. So during the breaks, we will see that after the entrance, there are teachers. After that, there will be ayahs. We plan to erect an open tap system so that students need not touch the taps automatically. Okay, once they are completed, it will be shut. The water flow will be shut. We maintain that students maintain physical distance. it's a completely different phenomena coming to the present, because previously schools were completely different. Now there has to be certain change in the schools, and we are very sure and we are very ready to go with the norms that are given by the government. And after that, teachers will be given a training session how to deal with the students. And even we plan maybe online classes or direct classes to the parents based on the availability on how they should bring their children and how they have to face this pandemic and stay safe and fit. So once they come back, we maximum prevent the exchange of books. We ask the students as well as the teachers not to exchange the books with each other. So once the students leave the class, we make sure once or twice the rooms are sanitized again. And we make sure that if the student doesn't feel well, we inform the parents before the entrance, or even if he suffers after the entry into the school, to take them back, because always prevention is better. So if student doesn't feel well, it's better to be staying at home than coming to the school. Then while students are left, it's made sure that they will not be left at a time. And we have got, as I told you, 4 or 5 gates.
Without access to education, as shocks are experienced, including loss of life, health impacts and loss of livelihoods, children are more vulnerable and unprotected. Regarding this, we have a caller online, Mr. T. Kumar, who's from Bangalore. Hello, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, Mr. Kumar, can you give us a brief description of what exactly is happening at home with children right now?
Especially, there are a couple of perspectives I would like to share with you. One is the perspective from the parent side. Okay?
Right.
As parents, we are still unsure whether to send our children in case the government takes a call that we should send the children to school. Because children are children. In spite of all the management plan to separate them or whatever, but at recess, during recess or during a period or during lunch, they will not understand and they will mingle with one another, and that is our concern. We won't be there to keep a watch on them. That is our main concern.
Right.
And secondly, there's another aspect to it. We will be sending them in autos, which are, as in India, as in Hyderabad and Bangalore, any place, they are cramped. What do? We don't know. If the school bus is there, then fine. I think they might take a call on keeping two in a bench or seat or whatever. Okay, you understand? So that is the second concern. And third is we are not sure if the schools will provide them with the disinfectant or whatever. We will be providing, as parents, we will be providing with the mask or the sanitizers in their kit. But there somebody has to oversee the whole operation.
Right.
Otherwise, to see that the children sit maintaining the distance, and while they go out, they maintain the distance. It is, I think, from the school's point of view, the onus is on them, because it is up to them to see that the children maintain all the social distancing there, along with they maintain the hygiene and they wear the face mask, and as they would, and the classes should be maybe put in the right way.
Right.
This is the concern from the parents. So we are not sure to send them or hold back till we get reports that the coronavirus has subsided. So there are two things. By doing this, if I don't send my kids there, they'll be not doing the syllabus,
Right.
and they will be losing on the studies, and it may be a loss for them to cope up with the syllabus. That's very important. And if we send, there's you never know if something, as this is very contagious, we are in dilemma. We really don't know what should be our action on this. Yes.
Yeah. Also, Mr. Kumar, what role are parents playing right now when it comes to students who are undergoing the online teaching process? Obviously, parents have to take one step ahead and give their extra support to their children now more than ever. What is it that parents are doing right now in order to show their support?
See, this is a totally technical affair.
Right.
Some of the times it goes right, but many of the time, due to technicalities, they are not able to get the full scripts of that whatever they are showing. Okay.
Right.
So what as parents we do, we know the topic that has been discussed or will be discussed. Okay.
Right.
So we separately find time to teach those topics. Okay.
Right.
And from our end, sometimes we, we get to the laptops and find more information, because that particular software and particular lesson is only provided from the school. Okay. But in case some difficulties they face, we as parents have to complete the syllabus based on the content of the book. Okay, that's why we try. Sometimes the mother sits with them, sometimes I sit with them, or the elder sisters, they sit with them and complete the course, which is very important. For parents, at the end of the day, we want the students don't lag behind and complete the course what was supposed to be done by the school authorities. Okay.
Right.
We understand both are in trouble. The schools, they want to comply with online classes, but at times they think they are explaining properly, but due to technical reasons, most of the time, there may be a lacuna in our part also. Sometimes there's no electricity, sometimes the net has a problem, issue, and so on and so forth. So we don't take chance. As parents, we find time to ensure that they complete the course to the level that we as parents can, because we are not masters of all subjects. We may know a couple of subjects. But still, we try to help them out in spite of their having the online classes.
Right, right. Now, Mr. Kumar, because of all these online classes, as you've been mentioning, there are many effects that would impact on children. So, what do you think that parents should be doing right now to minimize the impacts as much as they can?
Well, when you use technology, there are a lot of safety policies that has to be maintained. Most of the technology should have clear safety policies in place to protect children from potential bullying, harassment, and other things, exploitation, besides the wrong information we pay.
Right.
If parents choose to allow the technology or the school, I am sure they will look into all these aspects and transmit them to the students. Okay, so
Right.
I don't think this is much of a problem, because the onus is on the school to select those technologies which are safer for the students. Okay, uh, yet little governance is in place to regulate these tools and services. But the onus, as I said, is on the school to see that the content is proper, and for that particular age group it is meant. In that case, there should not be any hassle. Otherwise, in some of the reports that we have, heard from other countries, some children, they get addicted to such. They don't follow the textbook or whatever. They only wait for this online things to be, which is also not correct as per my, as a parent, understanding. So otherwise, I think Indian schools, our schools, they are good in selecting the right technology, the right, storyline, or the right lesson, which would be good for that particular age group they are targeting, or the classes they are meant for. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Kumar, thank you so much for joining with us. You've been really
Thank you.
insightful. Thank you.